So everyone, welcome to Kodel Kol Shira in partnership with Breslov.org. And in Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to learn a beautiful piece.
Recording in progress.
Oh, Givaldi. In Mitzvah Hashem, we're gonna learn a beautiful piece here pertaining to the parsha, and let's see how it goes. Okay, Mefrasei HaParsha. Iker kedushas achilas Yisrael hu liskois b'shas achila la'aretz harotzen. The main point of Klal Yisrael, when we eat, we're supposed to come to this idea of ha'aretz harotzen. What's ha'aretz harotzen? We learned it before. It's a place. Ha'aretz harotzen is a place in the upper worlds, but we can come to that clarity by ourselves. Ha'aretz harotzen shenimshach mibechinas klolius bein utalmud, which is an aspect of the general rule of a ben and a talmud to the teacher, right? To the rebbe, to the father, and so on. So let's see how this works. Okay, Hainu midas shemeya tzadik b'doiri mala, when the das that the tzaddikim are illuminating on the upper echelons, laharois ulahoya lohem she'enam yoidim adayin klal migdulasa yizbarach. All right, so look, so we have different kinds of Yidden, right? We have some Yidden that feel that, I'm doing so great, I know so much, and I'm well accomplished, right? But then the great tzaddik comes along, and the great tzaddik shows him, really, what do you know? Because the tzaddik knows so much more than any individual, and he shows him that she'enim yoidim adayin klal migdulasa yizbarach. You may think you know a lot of Torah. You may think you're a hatzi-tatzi. You think everything is going so good. But he shows him, you really know nothing yet of the greatness and the grandeur of the Rabbeinu Shalom. Shezeh bechinas aye mikoim kivoidai. Lahoyer. And then the other one is the opposite way. Aye mikoim kivoidai. Lahoyer lahadore mata. Sheyedu shehem gam kein simuchin elav yizbarach livlili yosh atzman klal. So the tzaddikim know how to deal with both the well accomplished Yidden, right? The ones that are learning, the ones that are getting close. But he shows them, guys, don't feel you reached your plateau and you don't need to go. You didn't even begin to get close to the Rabbeinu Shalom yet. You don't know anything. Wow! But then he takes the guys. Then he looks at the other guys, the guys that fell down, the guys that are in trouble, the guys that got mixed up in the wrong things, and they don't feel that they can come back to the Rabbeinu Shalom. They don't feel that way. But he shows them, Aye Mekayim Kivoidei. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere in the world. The covenant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu exists everywhere in the world. There's nothing in the world that doesn't have the covenant of the Rabbeinu Shalom, or else it wouldn't exist. And he shows them that, to lift them up, that there's people think sometimes, I did this, I did that, the Rabbeinu Shalom doesn't want to have anything to do with me. That's not true. That's not true. The Rabbeinu Shalom puts us in all different situations and different trials and tribulations. Why? Only to see how we are going to deal with it. The Rabbeinu Shalom wants to see, are we going to realize that it's all that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here with me, and I can call out to the Rabbeinu Shalom and I can do tshuva. That's the whole point, and that's what the tzaddikim they help us understand that. So we should never give up. Because the whole world is full with the Rabbeinu Shalom's covet, with the Rabbeinu Shalom's honor. V'ayedei hadas hazeh hatzadik mitaken u'mechaye koloi lomai sel yoinim mitachtoinim. And through this, the tzaddik, he can come and he can give life and vitality to the upper worlds and to the lower worlds. To elevate all the fallen sparks that the people may be involved in things that they shouldn't be. But then when he's able to teach them that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is still with you, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is waiting for you. So that's how we can lift up those sparks that have fallen. Sometimes the sparks, they get enclosed, they get involved, and they get with the animals and the chayos, with animals and domesticated animals. And that's why we have this simanim tahara. Right? We have there's two simanim when it comes to behemoth tahara. Shehem male geira umefarsim parsa. That they have to chew their cud, right? So the animal, so let's say the cow and the goat and all these other, the lamb, the sheep, and all of them, what they do is they'll eat their food, and then it'll come back again up, and then they'll re-chew it, and then they'll process it. And the next thing it has to do is it has to have a split hoof. Right? So we know the Torah tells us like the chazer. The chazer, the pig, he shows out, he sticks out his foot, and he shows, look, I have a split hoof. He wants us to believe he's a kosher animal. Because again, you could see it. Right? You could see it. You could see that he has a split hoof. Yeah, but that he doesn't chew his cud. And the Torah, the simani of tahara of an animal, it has to do both. It has to do both. Ki heim moirim shekvar nimshach ala nefashis hamloches behem hores atzadik. Ki anitzaitzit shenaflu v'yodu v'nis talshu v'nis labshu b'behemus v'chayes heim b'china sheich neyofer. And those sparks that got mixed up in the animals, in the chayes, in these chayes, that's an aspect of the people, of the Jewish people that have fallen into low things. But what happened? He awakens them that they're those that are dwelling in the offer. They should be able to be awakened, and they can also be able to be. They can also sing. What is that? Is hinting to those that have fallen very, very lowly. Because they fell down deep in the earth, like the water goes down into the earth. They've fallen deep. By the Ares Harotzin, the tzaddik from the tzaddik helping them. Those that are sheich neyofer, those are hinting to those that fell lowly, they fell down, but the tzaddik helps them be awakened, and he brings them back. By days heim bechinas male geira. He explains, they can also have to be imbued with the light of the tzaddikim. And even those ones that fell down, they can be lifted up also. It's a very important concept. The Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't put someone in a situation to be pushed off, to stay pushed off. The Rebbeinu Shalom wants everyone to come back. Because those sparks that fell into these low places, they're like birds that are trapped they're like caught in a trap. They're like birds that were caught in a net, in a trap. Okay, they get stuck. We get stuck. The people they get involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in. They get stuck in those things. The example is like a bird gets caught in a trap. Kihem segurim. b'masar. Because they're closed up and they're constricted by aval. That even HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in that place. Don't think that you're in this situation in this world and you're there by yourself. You're not there by yourself. The Rebbeinu Shalom is there with you. The Rebbeinu Shalom is always there with you. You know, there's a story that Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson told over. I heard this a while ago. It's an amazing story. He said there was a young boy that was in the concentration camp. He was a boy. He was 11 years old. And Mengele Yamach Shemam Zichram. Mengele wanted, he was doing experiments on children. He was doing on adults too. Hashem ni'inkom dama mamash. So he came into this room where this young boy was, and he said to them, "Hey, we're going to make an experiment on him." And this young boy said, "No, experiments are done on monkeys, not on human beings." And he thought that they were going to shoot him right in the moment, but he got away with it. And then they said, this guy told over that they were walking. They went on the death march, and they were going for days and days without any water, and days without any rest. No rest at all. And this poor young man, this 11-year-old boy, was walking and walking. His feet were infected. He couldn't do it anymore. He thought to himself, you know what? Maybe I'll just stop. They'll shoot me, and I'll be put out of my misery. What do I need? What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do? And then he had a thought. What was his thought? He had a thought that it was a Friday. It was a Friday night. He remembered back on this death march. He remembered back how bright the house was with the beautiful Shabbos candles. He remembered that. And he remembered at that time his father told him a story, told over a story of the Baal Shem Tov. And what was the story with the Baal Shem Tov? There was once a chassid by the Baal Shem, and while the chassid was over there in Mezbich, which is in the Ukraine, he got a messenger came and told him that this chassid of the Baal Shem Tov, his wife was going to have a baby. She's about to have the baby, and he should come back. So what happened? He told the Baal Shem Tov, he said to the Baal Shem Tov, he told the Baal Shem Tov, he said, I think I'll go back tomorrow. So the Baal Shem Tov said to him, no, you should go back tonight. But he said, Rebbe, I have to go through the forest, and this forest that I have to go through, there's a lot of robbers, and there's animals, and this, and I don't know what's going to be. I can't go myself. So the Baal Shem Tov said to him, you should know that Kain Mol Yid Gate Alain, all the time the Rebbeinu Shalom is with you. You never go anywhere yourself. You're always going with the Rebbeinu Shalom. And here he thought that he was on this walk by himself, and he had no parents, and his kid, everyone was killed, and he figured he has nothing. And then he remembered this story of the Baal Shem Tov, and he gave him tremendous chiyas. He gave him a tremendous chiyas. He was able to survive. And he was able to come. I believe he moved to Canada, and he had a beautiful family and everything else. So here you see it, that tzaddikim can always come, and they can always lift somebody out no matter where they are, no matter what situation they find themselves in. And this young man, boy, did he find himself in a very difficult situation. Now, even where you are, wherever you find yourself, There's an opening to go out. We're going to be learning about that matzah, right? Pesach is coming, right? Chevra, right? Pesach is coming. What's the thing of matzah? Matzah is mem tzadik hey. Chometz is ches mem tzadik. Same letters, except you change the ches to a hey. Right? You scramble them up. Now, what's the difference between a hey and a ches? A ches is closed. Right? The ches is closed on both sides, and it has a roof on the top, right? But a hay is not closed. Right? On the left side of the hay, there's a little opening, and that's why you can differentiate it's a hay, because you can get out, you can escape, and that's why matzah, Yid can do tshuva. Chometz, it tells the guy that the guy's in trouble. You can't go anywhere. You're stuck, you can't go. That's what the Yetzer Hara says. But the tzaddik comes along and says, there's a Pesach Lotzeitz, the little hay, you can get out over there. And that's why the hoof has to be split. Because the foot of the animal is the lowest part of the animal. So now we understand why the foot has to be split. Why? To show there's a way out even there. In this low place, it has to be split like the little hay of matzah and not the chometz. It's unbelievable, the Torah. It's unbelievable. But he has a gam sham nimtza pesach lotzes hefech parsais kelutais, which is the opposite when the feet are closed up. Shu b'chinas heim kelutim v'sigurim, they're closed. Sham the einam yecholim lotzes, like the ches from the chometz. You can't go out. Avamafis parsa zebechinish sheyesh pesach. There is an opening. Gam sham b'madrega tachtonim, that low place miyoid lotzes misham, to go out from there. Kimeloi ha'ar kimeloi chalaretz kevayde ve'ein shum yeyesh b'olam. There's no such a thing as giving up in the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants every single Yidden to come back to him. This is what the Rebbeinu Shloim wants. Ein shum yeyesh b'olam. Because there's nothing in the world that's void from the Rebbeinu Shloim's presence. Nothing. And that's why we're mutter, it's one of the simonim of the tahara of the animal, because it's open to teach us that even if I find myself in a trapped place, I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there with me. And that's why we were allowed to eat it. Ki yesh lanu koyach levarim. We have ways to clarify. Through the light of the tzaddikim, how they can all help us out. And this is how we can even see how the Rebbe teaches us how you can take out from the animal, and you can understand from the simonim. From the simonim. You can even say, why does he have to chew his cud? Why does the food have to come back again? To show that if the person feels that he was trapped and he can't get out, guess what? It comes back up. It comes back up again. That's why the foot has to be split. That shows it's open. It can't be kalut. It can't be closed. It has to be open. And that's the simonim of what a kosher animal is, and what we're able to eat, what we're able to eat. Does anyone want to add anything to this? Say anything? Any objections? You could say no, Yaakov. You could talk. You're allowed to talk. Everyone's welcome to talk. Okay, everyone. So, what?
Before the quote, we had Moshe being Shakol Yisrael.
Yeah.
Also, so this would, the one we had today would follow that.
Exactly. Shkoyach. Okay.